Welcome to the MTD Technical Corner. Today we're going to be reviewing a new fifth axis machine from TAKUMI, the UR1000, supplied in the UK by Leader CNC Technologies. Paul, lovely new machine.
It is. I mean, TAKUMI as a brand, we've been to exhibitions, and in fact I remember the last show, it seems like ages since we've been to one, but when we did go, I remember looking at a similar TAKUMI machine there. Very well built, a lot of heritage in the company, a high precision machine for industries that, you might be looking at the aerospace, the automotive, the mold and die. And of course, what we see in this machine today is a brand new product. So it'll be good to talk about it.
Right, let's get the product on screen now, Paul. But with this new fifth axis machine, what strikes me first is the configuration. It's not a typical fifth axis configuration, is it, Paul?
Well, you see machines that are sort of built in the same way as this, with this sort of column machining center, 5-axis capability. Here we see a gear skive in which, a lot of companies are trying to be able to do this now on their machines, understandably, for all the reasons that you can see here in reducing the processing of gears. Importantly, to do things like this, you need a very accurate machine. You need the synchronicity between the axes to be able to reach the DIN standards of gear cutting. But this TAKUMI machine can achieve that. But the point you're making about the build of the machine is, to me, this is about the flexibility of the options you can have. Here you see you've got a fifth axis head, and what's good about this is if you're working in the die and mold sector, what you're not having to do here is tip the table towards the spindle, because if you keep doing that with a table, however good it is, over a period of time, you're going to notice where it's obviously not going to be, well, it's putting more stresses on the machine rather than moving the head to the part. So that's one of the areas of this machine where you'll see that you've got a rotary table, you've got a C-axis, and then you've got your A-axis head.
So let's break all three different configurations down for the UR1000. Just want to touch on the gear skiving briefly before we move on to the different configurations, Paul. There's a client in the UK that has got dedicated gear machines, but they're now manufacturing the gears on the TAKUMI due to the accuracy and the synchronization, as you mentioned. So with the UR1000, Paul, talk us through the different configurations that you need to choose at the point of purchase.
Well, what you've got is you've got the option of either a large C-axis table, which will rotate and position and contour as well if you need to, and then an A-axis head, which you can then position to do your 5-axis machining. That's option one. Option two, you've got that as well, but with the addition of a fixed table, as well as the rotary table. So if you just need a fixed table, or if you wanted to load larger components, you could do that across both tables in a little bit like we see in some machining centres. So you've got more flexibility there. The third option is that you've got just a big fixed table. If you were loading much heavier parts, big industrial components, then you've got your 2-axis head, which will give you the ability to do the positional and the 5-axis machining. So those three options allow you to choose which is best for your business. For me, the most flexibility comes in having the rotary table as well as the fixed table on the machine there. I see that as a real way of protecting yourself to be able to do much bigger components, but as well as still get the 5-axis capability as well with a rotary table.
So at the point of purchase, Paul, you've got these options determined, I would assume, from your application, determined by what you're making within your company. Now, what strikes me again, Paul, this is a full fit for axis head. That the component is stationary. You must have a lot of rigidity in that head.
Well, you have, and you've got a lot of power as well. I mean, I was reading about this. You've got a built-in 55 kilowatt spindle here, capable of operating up to 24,000 RPM, HSK 63. I mean, that's some spindle. The positional accuracy of these things, the speed of the movement is something else as well. So these machines really are, I mean, they're important points, but getting into the machine, the loading the machines, the way the doors open, how the swarf extraction is configured on these machines, they have really looked in detail about providing a machine here to companies, as I say, whether you're a general subcontract machining business or you're an OEM that really has demanding applications and you want reliability and precision. and of course performance, as I mentioned. I mean, it's a 28-ton machine. You've got a 40-station tool changer on it, and you've got the latest Heidenhain TNC 640 control.
And that's where I was going to end it really, Paul, with the control system, Heidenhain control to power this machine.
But I would also say, before we do close it, I mean, there is another range of 5-axis machining centres, double column machines, the UB series, which is an extension of this. I mean, the size of the UR, you're talking about 1.5 metres in the X by 2 metres in the Y and a metre in the Z. But the UB series, which is much bigger, gives you over 3 metres of capacity as well. So they've got a lot of options in that sort of column machining centre area.
And they started to win a lot of market share in the UK, and you can obviously see why. Paul, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure and a privilege as always. The new TAKUMI 5th axis machine. Contact Leader CNC Technologies to find out more.